Hey, what's up, guys? This is Colin Reese. Recently, FIFAmerica, aka Jake Landau, released a video entitled My Problem with Sebastian Lletget. There was essentially a hit piece on Sebastian Lletget, and about 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the video, there was just really a quite appalling and defamatory part of the video where Jake Landau said that he felt that Sebastian Lletget wasn't maybe 100% focused on the games during when the U.S. played Panama and Honduras and some other opponents, and that it was because his sister had died, and that even though his sister had died, that since he chose to play, then he owed it to the fans to give 100%. And one, there's no evidence that he didn't give 100%. And two, it's just so callous to talk about something like this where someone's sister died and you think that it's therefore okay to play pop psychologist and accuse the person of not being fully committed and basically saying, hey, it sucks that your sister died, but if you were going to play, you needed to obviously try harder, and so you should have taken yourself off the roster. This is just such a callous and appalling thing to say. There's no evidence that Sebastian Lletget wasn't given 100%, and he even scored a goal in one of the previous games against Honduras. So this is just some defamatory claim that just shows a total lack of class and any humanity. This is the U.S. men's national team fan base, or at least a small percentage of them, have really just gone off the deep end in terms of their classlessness, their just disrespect and mockery of their fellow fans, journalists, and players. And it's always considered by them to be fair criticism, and if you have any sort of problem with it, it's because you're sensitive or you're taking it personally. But this thing that Jake Landau did, I've never even heard 11 Yanks or tactical manager say anything remotely as callous and personal and insulting as this. They tend to mock players if they think they shouldn't be starting, or if they think they're like an MLS level player that doesn't deserve to be on the team. But the level of the personal attack of this by Jake Landau was really shocking. The other thing that's shocking about it is if he felt that Sebastian Lletget's mental state was affecting his play negatively, then he shouldn't have made a video saying that Sebastian Lletget wasn't an international class player. Because if you felt that the grief was affecting his play, then it wouldn't really be fair to break down his play and claim that he wasn't at the requisite level to be playing for the U.S. men's national team. So that doesn't make sense. That's a big contradiction. If you think someone wasn't playing to their best ability because one of their family members had died, then you shouldn't be critiquing their play to essentially say that they're only good enough to play for MLS. So you can't have it both ways. And this was frankly just so shocking. I don't think I've come across anything on soccer Twitter or on YouTube with like any fan base in the world, whether it's club or national team, as just inappropriate and disrespectful and just callous as this Jake Landau personal attack on Sebastian Lletget. And as I said, it is defamation. Obviously you can't actually get in trouble for this kind of defamation because it's too hard to prove, but to claim without really knowing that someone wasn't 100% mentally focused and that they weren't trying very hard without really knowing that is not something that someone should be doing. And that's kind of the difference between people that are professional journalists or, newscasters or reporters and this kind of new crop of people on social media and on YouTube. They really this new crop of people. They really just have no ethics or professionalism and no training in what is appropriate and okay to say and what's not. And someone on television or something would have never said something like, oh, it sucks your sister died, but even though she died, you should have pulled yourself from the roster. If you did this on television or something, there'd be so many complaints for you to be fired that the company would just have to fire you, because it would just be such a bad look for the company. I don't know what else to say about this. It just really crossed the line, and it was just really indicative of how inappropriate this new brand of U.S. men's national team fans are. And to feel like you're entitled to kind of tell Sebastian Lletget that he didn't try hard enough for you without really knowing, you're not entitled to say that sort of stuff because you bought a couple jerseys or maybe went to a couple games. Sebastian Lletget doesn't work for you, and you don't have the right to say that sort of stuff to a professional athlete that represents your country. You got a right to complain if you think, that they weren't trying that hard in the game, but to go and say that, we know your sister died, but you should have pulled yourself from the roster, really just crosses the line. People never pull themselves from rosters, really. It's maybe if like a family member dies the day of the game or like the day before, but it almost never happens. Sometimes a coach will pull someone if they really feel like they're not doing that well, but there's no evidence that any of this was going on. And this really just crossed the line for me and really bothered me. And it's just another indication of just how classless and hopeless this new band of U.S. men's national team fans are. They don't seem to really know enough about soccer to criticize the team's formations or the tactics. So all they really know how to do is personally attack MLS players. And they do this because the extent of their soccer knowledge is that European soccer is better. So anyone playing in European soccer is better than any MLS player. And if you are an MLS player, then we're entitled to just ridicule you and mock you because it's quote unquote fair criticism. So again, this all really bothered me, and I thought this was classless and callous and really crossed the line. Thanks everyone for tuning in. See you next time.